Hi Kirti, good evening. How are you?
Hi Devi, good evening. I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm also good. So today's your interview will be taken by me, and it's like an I will tell you the JD and all. This is for Azure data engineering position, and we are expecting the people have 2 to 4 years of experience and who have the well knowledge in the Python, SQL, PySpark, Databricks area. So this is our expectation. Can we start?
Yeah, sure, Devi.
Okay. So we can start in the first question. Can you explain with me about yourself, Kirti?
Yeah. Uh, Hello Devi. My name is Kirti. I hail from Hyderabad. I'm having around 2 years of relevant experience as a data engineer. So prior to getting into the IT industry, I worked as a computer professor in one of the universities for 5 years. Then after that, I switched into IT industry. So initially, for 1 month, I worked as a on SQL Server. Then later on, I got an opportunity as a working on the data as a data engineer in Otis. Then I worked on data migrations where I used to transfer the data from on-prem SQL Server to Azure SQL database. So there were few projects in Otis where I used a DMA tool also to transfer the to migrate the databases which are from on-prem to Azure SQL database. And in other projects also, I used Azure Data Factory for migration of the databases from on-prem to Azure SQL. And later on, I moved into a project where there was a necessity of using the Azure Data Explorer. So for then, the project was we used to get daily 1.2 million heartbeats of data. So for that, Azure SQL was not capable of handling huge amounts of data in the database. So for that reason, we had a like a brainstorm kind of session to use the Azure Data Explorer as the best solution, where we can store the entire data in the cold storage or archival storage. So for that purpose, for migration purpose, I used Azure Data Factory, wherein I used to transfer all the data from Azure SQL to Azure Data Explorer. So here another scenario was there where in some situations I used triggers also for at some particular point of time this data has to be transferred from Azure SQL to Data Explorer. And after Otis, I got an opportunity to work in RSM, where there also I worked on Azure Data Factory, and we used to get different kind of files in CSV format and Excel format like that. So I used to take the data from all these formats, and I used to transfer the data to Azure Data Lake Gen 2 with the help of the Azure Data Factory. Then after getting the raw data into Azure Data Lake Gen 2. Then I used Databricks for doing the transformation purposes. Like I used to check the column names of the uh, table, and I used to check the data types. So all those kind of transformations I used to do in the Databricks. Then completely, which is called as a bronze layer. Then after clearing the data, then again we used to send the data to Azure Data Lake Gen 2, which is the core layer.
Okay. Okay. So one more thing. Actually, I was asking like, what is your briefly introduction, but you have given the project explanation also. So
Okay.
there is a one mistake happened like next time onwards. First thing you need to give like a your introduction. What are the things you qualify and what are
Okay.
the items you have? That is the one thing. Then asking about the project architecture, you can give what are the things you are doing in the project. What is your role in the current project? That kind of thing. Okay, no worries. So
Okay.
we
So I
are
can
moving.
tell about the certifications also, right? I completed certifications, and by the year-end target, my target is to complete DP 203 and Databricks certifications.
Exactly. That is really good. That is also you need to
This
mention.
point I forgot. This point I forgot to tell. Okay,
Yes.
right.
Then we are moving into next question. So what are the real life scenario? That means a challenging thing when you're doing in your project. What are the challenging scenarios? Can you explain any of the scenario?
Yeah. So in my first project, while working in Otis, there was a challenge where where there were no updates. Updates was not performed in Azure SQL, updates of the data. So we it was really a bit difficult task for doing the updations in the Azure Data Explorer, because Azure Data Explorer is not having the update facility. Why?
Mm,
In the sense, now let's say today I got the, like, since OTC is an elevator industry, we used to work on the number of times the elevators have been used, and at what time it is being used, at which location. So all those data we used to capture. So
mm,
what happens is, like if any, due to any emergencies, some elevators you were not run properly. So
mm.
there we need to change the units. So that kind of update was not happened in the Azure Data Explorer. So
Okay.
that was the one challenge we faced, and it was a bit difficult for doing the transformation to Azure Data Explorer.
Okay. How you resolve that issue?
So, in order to resolve that issue, like in Azure Data Factory only, I used data flow to change the columns, to change the column types, and also to change in, we have the schema
Mm,
drift option in data flow, where I can change the column name and other details. So with the help of that, I solved we team solved the problem.
Okay, that is great. And one more thing, I just want to ask you, if you have any kind of exception, for example, not exception, any errors, how you handle, or something was happened in between the running a pipeline, how you identify a pipeline has some issue, which is the correct debugging point, how you identify it.
Yeah, so after rerunning the pipeline, basically we used to get like small kind of errors when we check the activities. We looked over there that, one first thing, the pipeline fail activity had come due to the main reason is the large transformations of data.
Mm,
So for that is the one error, pipeline was not running properly. So it has
mm,
thrown OM issue, out of memory issue error. So
mm,
then what I did is, in the copy activity itself only, means we did not identify this in the copy activity itself only. We use the option called maximum rows per file. So
mm,
by using that option, and the maximum parallelism option also, with the help of those options, we try to rectify that pipeline, so that
mm.
those kind of errors we used to get.
Okay, okay. Any error log saving or something you used in your project?
Yeah, so whenever any pipeline get fails, I used logic apps to send the notifications to our leads and team members.
Mm,
Whenever the pipeline fails, I use logic apps for that. And
mm.
whatever the error logs I want to save, I used blob storage to save the error logs
Okay,
by
there's a
using the enable logging option in there.
there's a fault tolerance also
Yeah.
available in the means activity, so you can use that one, save into the your log. That is also helpful.
Okay.
Then, do you use any production activities like any of the production kind of thing in the project, in the current project?
Production kind of thing I haven't used, but the thing is, like, whatever the pipelines we used to run to deploy in the production environment, we used CI/CD DevOps, wherein in the ADF only from the main branch we used to send the pipelines. We used to send the pipelines to the main branch with the help of the pull request. Then
Mm.
after that, in with the help of that pull request, the pipelines used to be reflected in the production environment.
Okay,
So
okay.
in ADF pipelines picture we used in that way. But for
Mm.
running the pipelines in production environment, we used to schedule triggers.
Okay, great. And one more thing, in the coming year data, that means ADF we completed, coming year data brick. Do you heard about Melody and architecture?
Yeah, I have a bit idea on that Mendelian architecture, but I'm not I can give a basic stuff on that.
Sure, sure. You can give me. You can give if you have anything idea about, you can tell me. Or
Okay. Like Sparks runs on the like master slave architecture, can I say?
yeah, you can.
Yeah, so Sparks runs on the master slave architecture. So
Mm.
basically, master is nothing but we can call as a driver, and Spark and slave we can call it as a uh, worker. So
Mm.
what the main program will run on the driver only. So from there, Spark context it initiates so what the driver initiates Spark context and stores in the Spark conf. So this that Spark context is a bridge between the cluster manager and the driver.
Okay, one more
Cluster
thing.
manager, yeah.
Currently, we are using the Spark context or Spark session, which is currently people are using for the data frame.
Actually, Spark context is at the 1.0 session, 1.0 version, but now we are using Spark session only. If we
Mm.
write the codes also, we use Spark session, but not
Exactly.
Spark context.
Mm.
So
Mm.
earlier it was Spark context. It is.
Context, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, so this Spark context is like a bridge between the cluster manager and the driver. Cluster manager is nothing but a resource manager. So what this Spark context does is it will negotiate resources with cluster manager and submits jobs to the cluster. So
okay.
basically, we have three types of clusters: standalone cluster, yarn cluster, and Mesos cluster.
Actually,
So
Kirti, I'm just asking to Melody in architecture. That is the cluster point. Okay, you are
okay,
explaining to cluster. Melody in
okay.
architecture is like how the data is arranging. Like a, for example, there's a three layer. Maybe you heard about bronze, silver, and gold layer.
Yeah,
Each
yeah.
of the layer has its own functionality. That is, I am expected. Do you aware about that one?
Yeah, so like in this architecture, we have three types of layers. One is the raw layer, that is nothing but a bronze layer where the raw data is stored, and after after bronze layer, we have the silver layer. Silver layer is the place in the Databricks we do all kind of transformations. Now, let's say if I want to clean the if I sorry if I want to change the column names, if I want to filter the data, or if I want to change the data types or any kind of things, that all kind of transformation will be done in the silver layer. So that we can be achieved with the help of the Databricks. Then
Okay.
after doing all the cleaning part and that filtration part, so once the data is clean and ready, that data can be sent into the again our main target data store. So whatever
Okay.
the data is sent to the target data store where the business people will can use, or data analyst can use, that type of layer is called as a gold layer.
Okay. Okay. Great. Then one more thing, how to create a data frame, like how to read a file from CSV. Can you tell
Yeah.
me the code?
Yeah. So in order to read a data frame, firstly, you can take a Databricks in the cluster, create a cluster, and inside the cluster, create a notebook. Then in the notebook, write first line, or always you have to write as from PySpark dot from PySpark import Spark session. Then if you want to create a data frame, you have to write as like df is equals to spark dot create data frame, then CSV file, then import that header true. Suppose in case header is not there, you have to write as header as true. Then again import in format. Sorry, is that what is that? Header true, and another one is infer schema as a true. Basically it is default as false, but we have to make it it is as a true. Then load the path wherever you want to load, like file store, dbutils, then tables, and wherever that gives some name. Then
Okay.
finally if you want to display the output, then df dot show.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Great. Then we are moving into the next session, like data warehouse. Okay. Data warehouse. Do you aware about snowflakes and the star schema?
I have a basic knowledge on star schema and data warehouse concepts. I
Okay.
can explain like
Okay. Can you give some whatever you have? Just can you explain what is
yeah.
star schema based on the name? What is star schema?
Yeah, so firstly, I can tell about the data warehouse. Data warehouse is a analytical store where we can store where the data is used for historical purpose. It's like an OLAP. It's like an online analytical processing structure, we can say. And we
Okay.
have two types of schemas: star schema and Snowflake schema. Star schema is where fact table to the fact table, all the dimension tables will be logged on, configured.
Okay.
But coming to
Okay.
Snowflake schema, the in star the fact one fact table will be there, and many dimensions tables will be there. Again, the in the dimensions table will be divided into sub dimensions, we can say. So that is nothing but Snowflake schema.
Okay. One more
So for
thing, what
every
is fact? One more thing, what is fact, and one more, what is the dimension table? Can you explain?
Yeah. So fact table for every structure, data warehouse structure, there will be one fact table only. I can say
Okay.
simply a fact table is nothing but it is like a transactional table. Means it
Okay.
is all the it is used for we can say like for analytical purpose.
Mm.
Dimensional table we will be having many dimensions tables where the main data will be stored.
Okay.
Now, I can say now. Let's say I can say customer product example. Now,
Mm.
I want to list the details of the customer. So the
Mm.
details of the customer will be stored in a dimensions tables.
Mm. Mm.
Like every dimension table will be having a primary key. One
Mm.
fact table will be having a foreign keys of foreign key. Means the
Mm.
difference of the primary key of reference of the dimension, each dimension table data
Mm.
is stored in the fact table. So in the
Mm.
fact table, all the transactional data will be stored. Now let's
Mm.
say customer data will not change. Very
Mm.
rarely, like if suppose if his address is changed, very rarely that happen, that changes happen. But what
Mm.
kind of data changes usually? Now, like today, what customer bought?
Mm.
Let's say today customer, now Amazon shopping will be happening now.
Mm.
Let's say customer bought today some a grocery item. Let's tomorrow he will be buying some other item. So all the
Mm.
details will be stored in the fact table.
Mm.
And in dimensions table, the main data will be stored.
Okay. Okay. Great. So I think almost I got an idea about your course and all. Then I will be giving some of the feedback after, like, and from
Sure.
I'm taken the interview, Kirti. So I'm just given some feedback. So the first thing about your introduction. So when
Yeah.
I am asking to the introduction, you need to give like I'm Kirti. I'm from Hyderabad. I'm working in this X company. Currently,
Okay.
I have this much of years of experience.
Okay.
You can tell me like I can completed these kind of certification. For example, I have completed I'm first star coder in the hacker.
Okay.
I'm gonna have SQL coder, and I completed these kind of DP 900 and the Databricks certification. I'm learning after pursuing different certification. Then you need to mention about your role and responsibility of the current company. Current company, I'm working like a DBA, and I got a chance to working as like a data engineer position also. Then I got a chance, like I'm an individual contributor, right? You are not leading a team, you are an
Yeah.
individual contributor. So I'm
Yeah.
getting lot of, I got a chance to work with the different means sources like CSV, Excel, whatever you are getting, you can mention that also. Then
Mm-hmm.
you are work with the different technologies like ADF, Databricks, SQL, Azure SQL, Python, PySpark, and these kind of thing I got a chance to work on. Then you can mention like at the last you can mention like my short term goal. Everyone has some goals, right? I am short term goals, then maybe you can pursue some certification, that is also you are in the learning. Then the long
Okay.
term goal is you need to work with a good company like this company, and you need to get like a work with the good people, so learn
Okay.
more and like a next level like a lead position. This you
Okay.
can mention like in a 5 minutes if your brief introduction. Then
Okay.
next question, when you explain, this is like a, you need to take some pause also, because when you explain one line, take a pause. Then don't need to hurry up. Don't need to hurry up. You can take a pause and you can deliver that clearly that answer. Second thing,
Okay.
when asking about the architecture of the project, you can like a structured way you can answer the question. First thing, what are the technology you are working in the current project? Okay,
Okay.
ADF, data, how the ordered manner. First layer ADF, second layer database, third level SQL server, and fourth level will be Power BI. Then you need
Okay.
to be arranged like an ordered manner. Then the
Okay.
first ADF. What is the main aim of the ADF? What are the sources you are dealing with the ADF? What are the
Okay.
advantages when how to optimize the cost using the ADF? Next one, when
Okay.
you're moving to what are the files you are moving or what are the format you are using in the database. That is the next layer. These are the things you
Okay.
are using the database. You can explain the melody and architecture, how it will be
Okay.
impacted. Then next
Okay.
layer will be it will be moving into SQL server. It will be storing like a table or something. Then the last layer, Power BI. What are how the business user will help to the Power BI, that you need to
Okay.
explain clearly within maybe 5 to 10 minutes you can take to explain your project also. Then
Okay.
when we moving into the ADF, you need to be mentioned, you have a crystal clear idea about optimization, how an
Yeah.
error debugging, these kind of thing
Okay.
always asking. People are asking. You need to have a clear understanding about that part. Then next one will be the database. Coming into a database, you need to be clearly understand. Maybe they will be asking you. Now I didn't ask. They will be asking to share your screen, write the code for this one.
Okay.
So you need to be
Okay.
clearly write by hands on. You need to be write and practice. This way you need
Sure.
to daily because daily you are practicing. Sometimes we are
Yeah.
taking the code from the Google, but in the
Yeah.
interview perspective, they need how to write the code in the interviewer perspective, share the code. So you need to prepare that level.
Okay.
SQL also you need to prepare. Then the last will be you need to be focused like a data warehouse concept. Clearly,
Okay.
any of the data warehouse, how in your project data warehouse concept is applicable. That is
Mhm.
fact, that is dimension. These kind of thing also you need to be clearly mentioned. Give the these are the some of the feedback from I'm given from my side. Within 30
Sure.
minutes of time, you need to engage your interviewer with the correct
Okay.
answer confidently.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
if you
Okay.
don't know the answer, you can tell them, ma'am, I don't have the answer because everything we cannot expect from a candidate. You can tell them, I have an idea about this one, but I didn't get a chance to work on it. But after this interview, I will definitely look on this portion. Okay,
Okay.
you can say them, and at the finally you can tell them. Okay, at the end of the time, if the interviewer asking the question, what is anything you want to
Okay.
ask them, my side or something, you can ask them like, okay, this is the one, and I just want to know about how the project is looks like. Any of the technology I want to learn. This is also you can ask at the end of the question. So this is the one thing you can do at the last. Okay, so this
Okay.
is one
Okay.
of my feedback, Kirti. You need to be try on that one. Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
you
Sure.
move
Sure.
on to it.
So we need to call a